Okay, this is part 2 of chapter number 6, which is unemployment. In the last lesson, we learned about what is the natural rate of unemployment, what is the steady state of unemployment. Or we're going to study about different types of unemployment. Now, there are two different types of unemployment. One is called the frictional unemployment. This is the unemployment caused by the time it takes for workers to search for a job. So I explained to you जब मैं steady state आपको steady state of unemployment का जब हमने formula derive किया था कि जो labor market है ना it's in a constant flux. At a given point in time, there are some people who are being separated from their jobs, and then there are other people who are successful in finding jobs. So the time that it takes people to find a job, that's called frictional unemployment. Frictional unemployment is not a very dangerous kind of unemployment. For example, इसमें हो ये रहा है कि let's suppose there are 10 labor and there are 10 jobs. ठीक है, हर बंदे के लिए जॉब मौजूद है. So कभी ना कभी जो है ना ये 10 लोग जो है ना they will be able to find the perfect job which is out there. But the time that it takes to find that perfect job, to find that right job, that will result in some unemployment in the economy, which is referred to as the frictional unemployment. ठीक है, so बहुत simple है this kind of मतलब this is a very simple form of unemployment, and it can be explained by the fact that it's just the time that it takes to find that right job that is out there. Reason क्या है frictional unemployment के? Number one reason can be that the flow of information about job candidates and job vacancies is imperfect. Okay, so there is this perfect job out there, but it's just कि आपको information नहीं आप तक पहुंचती कि oh, this is a perfect job for me, that you don't end up applying for the job and taking up that job ultimately. So अगर हम ये information flow को बेहतर करते हैं, अगर टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल किया जाए, तो जो employers हैं they can effectively advertise कि they have this job vacancy in place, and job candidates जो है ना they can quickly look up कि oh, this is the right job for me, and they can apply for that particular job and succeed in getting that particular job. So information का अगर flow बेहतर कर दिया जाए तो जो time लगेगा ना to find that right job, that will be decreased, hence decreasing the frictional unemployment in the economy. Another reason for the frictional unemployment is that geographical mobility of workers is not instantaneous. If you're located currently in Wah and you find that right job, let's suppose Karachi, thoda sa time lagega for you to wrap up your affairs in Wah and move to Karachi. So the time that it takes to find that job or to take up that job, that will result in unemployment, which we are saying that it's referred to as the frictional unemployment. The third reason why frictional unemployment arises, or the third reason why it takes you time to find the right job, is because different jobs require different skills and pay different wages. Unemployed workers may not accept the first job offer they receive. Okay? So let's suppose I have a PhD in economics, I'm currently unemployed, and there is a job for me. So let's suppose there is a job for me, but the job is in a hospital. Yeah, the job is of a Montessori teacher. So मैं अपनी qualification को देखते हुए, I cannot apply for a job in a hospital. I don't want to apply for a job as a Montessori teacher. So job मौजूद है, लेकिन since वो मेरे since they're not at par with my skill or with my expertise level, I'm not going to take up that particular job. दूसरी possibility ये हो सकती है कि job available है, यानी I'm unemployed, I'm looking for a job, there is a job out there, but it's paying a wage that is not meeting up, so I'll end up not taking up that job. Okay, so yet another, अगर हम एक और factor की बात करें which results in frictional unemployment, that is sectoral shifts. So at any time, some sectors of the economy are growing and others are declining. A shift in emphasis from one sector to the other may result in frictional unemployment. ये बड़ा एक common phenomena है. At any given point in time, some sectors are growing while other factors are fading. अगर आप करंट सिनेरियो की बात करें, आप देख सकते हैं कि आजकल जो है ना, जो हमारी जो इंटरैक्टिव सॉफ्टवेयर्स हैं, दे आर हाई इन डिमांड. सो ये इंटरैक्टिव सॉफ्टवेयर्स कौन सी हैं? वी आर यूजिंग माइक्रोसॉफ्ट टीम, देन वी हैव Zoom, देन वी हैव Skype, वी हैव WhatsApp. सो ये जो इंटरैक्टिव आपकी जो एप्स हैं, they are very much in demand, which means that people who are behind these apps, or people who are the technical force behind making these projects, they are high in demand these days. Whereas demand for construction workers, demand for industrial workers, that is declining because आजकल ये सब जो है ना, factories, industries बंद पड़ी हुई हैं. So time आता है, there is ज़माना चेंज होता है at any given point in time. Some sectors they are growing, and other sectors they are fading. So that also results in frictional unemployment. So it takes time for people who are being fired from the sectors which are declining to be reabsorbed in a sector which is booming. For example, a boom in computer market decreases the demand for software, electrical, and the boom in computer market increases the demand for software, electrical, mechanical engineers, and it decreases the demand for, say, labor involved in manufacturing and using typewriters. So zahir si baat hai, typewriters become outdated now. So people who used to specialize in typing, उनकी जो है ना अब demand नहीं रही. So उन लोगों को दोबारा labor market में लाने के लिए you have to retrain them, and that is going to take some time. So what can the government do to decrease frictional unemployment in the economy? खैर जब आप जो factors पढ़ते हैं which results in frictional unemployment, तो आपके जहन में जो है ना solutions भी जो है ना they should have started to come up. So one way to reduce frictional unemployment is that the government employment agencies should disseminate information about job vacancies more efficiently. या आप टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं because of use of technology, because of softwares or links such as LinkedIn है, और भी बहुत सी जॉब पोर्टल्स हैं जहाँ से आपको जो है ना अब इंफॉर्मेशन जो डिसेमिनेशन का प्रोसेस है ना, that has actually quickened and become more efficient. So hopefully that should decrease frictional unemployment in the economy. Another thing which the government can do is that it can launch publicly funding retraining programs designed to ease transition of workers from declining to growing sectors. So हमने अभी sectoral shifts की बात की थी कि हर ज़माने में कुछ sectors boom करते हैं, कुछ sectors जो है ना they tend to face decline. So जो declining sectors के workers हैं ना, ज़रूरत ये है कि उनको फिर retrain किया जाए so that they can get absorbed in the sectors which are now growing. So for this, the government can launch some vocational training programs, या आप universities में emphasize करें कि आजकल इन जॉब्स की डिमांड है, तो आप अपने कोर्सेज को इस तरह अलाइन करें कि वो जो है ना they are creating individuals which can be easily absorbed into the job market. And the last factor which can affect frictional unemployment is unemployment insurance. अभी तक जो policies की बात की, they are aimed at decreasing frictional unemployment in the economy, whereas unemployment insurance क्या करता है? It tends to increase frictional unemployment in the economy. यहाँ होता क्या है, बहुत सी countries जो है ना they tend to give unemployment insurance, जो कि welfare countries हैं, mostly the European countries. What they are doing is that if you get unemployed, the workers can collect a fraction of their wages for a certain period after losing their jobs. So because of this policy, since जो workers हैं who have just lost their jobs, the desperation to find the next job quickly, that decreases. That is why frictional unemployment is going to go up. Okay, so this policy increases the amount of frictional unemployment. अगर आपको पता है कि गवर्नमेंट आपको कुछ अरसे के लिए आपको इंश्योरेंस मनी देगी, तो आप अपना रोजमर्रा का आराम से you can manage. So since that decreases your desperation to find, a job quickly, that will increase frictional unemployment in the economy. So frictional unemployment, अगर मैं sum up करूँ, it's not a very dangerous kind of unemployment. It's just the time that it takes to find the right job. अब उस अपने जो policies आप बनाएंगे, वो they should be aimed at decreasing this time which people are taking to find jobs. आप अगर jobs की location को ज़्यादा jobs की advertisement को बेहतर कर दें, और भी आप कुछ incentives दें, retraining program, vocational training programs अगर launch करें, so all of these policies can decrease frictional unemployment in the economy. The type of unemployment which is more dangerous and that needs more attention is structural unemployment. Structural unemployment की बहुत से causes हैं, इन handouts में चंद causes जो है ना वो elaborate की गई हैं. This is caused by structural flaw in the economy. So by structural flaw we mean that labor supply exceeds the labor demand. So remember जब हम frictional unemployment की बात कर रहे थे, मैं कह रही थी कि let's suppose 10 jobs हैं और 10 ही लोग हैं. So here supply is equal to its demand. Structural unemployment में क्या होता है कि supply exceeds the demand. There's something which is happening in the economy which is not able to generate as much jobs as there is demand for it. वजह इसकी बहुत सी हो सकती है. पहली वजह can be political instability, policies not being very clear, so people are hesitant about setting up industries or new production units because उन्हें पता नहीं है, government की policies clear नहीं है, political instability है. तो since industries set up नहीं होंगे, production units set up नहीं होंगे, तो demand for jobs will not get created. Sorry, demand, but the supply जो है ना, that will not get created. Demand तो होगी because बतेरे जो है ना लोग unemployed फिर रहे हैं. So that can be one reason behind the war or terrorism in the country, which actually discourages people to become entrepreneurs. अगर entrepreneurs नहीं होंगे, नया सेटअप नहीं इंट्रोड्यूस होगा, तो जॉब्स भी क्रिएट नहीं होंगी. आजकल के अगर हम हालात की बात करें तो बिकॉज ऑफ the global pandemic that we are facing, इसकी वजह से भी जो है ना काम ठप पड़ा हुआ है. लेबर सप्लाई एक्सेस में है लेकिन डिमांड नहीं है. अच्छा, now some other reasons why structural unemployment exists is wage rigidity. Wage rigidity में क्या होता है कि it's the failure of wages to adjust where labor supply equals the labor demand. Now this can be better understood with the help of the diagram that you see over here. Here you can see on the y-axis have the real wage rate, on the x-axis you can see labor. So labor supply मैंने assume किया कि constant है. Economy में labor एक fixed amount में available है, and that is why we are assuming that labor supply is constant. Labor demand is downward sloping. This should not come as a surprise to you as real wage increases. So as the cost of hiring labor is going to increase, the demand for labor is going to decrease. Hence, a downward sloping labor demand curve. Now, equilibrium in the labor market is obtained where the labor demand equals the labor supply, which is point over here. So you can see at this particular point level, जितनी supply है labor की उतनी ही demand है. So there's zero unemployment in the economy. But if the government drafts a policy that the minimum wage rate is going to be this much, okay, so the government drafts a policy that the minimum wage rate is going to be above the equilibrium. So आप देख सकते हैं at this wage level, the demand for labor is less than the supply for labor. So here we have excess amount of labor. ये जो आपको difference नजर आ रहा है, this is the difference between the supply of labor and the demand for labor. In other words, this is the level of unemployment in the economy. So in other words, the introduction of this minimum wages, the introduction of the law that wages are going to remain rigid at this level. Wages cannot be pushed down to the equilibrium. अगर ऐसी government policy introduce कर दे, that will result in unemployment in the economy. Okay, so reasons for wage rigidity, there's three reasons that we are going to discuss. पहला reason जो मैंने अभी mention कर भी दिया है, that is the minimum wage law. The government uses wage rigidity when it prevents wages from falling to the equilibrium level. Economists believe that minimum wages has the greatest impact on teenage unemployment or unskilled unemployment. Studies suggest that a 10% increase in minimum wage reduces teenage employment by 1 to 3%. अच्छा, ये सिंस हमारी बुक जो है ना, it's an American textbook, तो यहाँ teenage employment का जिक्र किया गया है, लेकिन teenage are assumed to be unskilled workers, so आप इसको teenage employment को unskilled workers की employment से जो है ना exchange कर सकते हैं. So coming back to this diagram here, what you see here is that if the government introduces the minimum wage rate, अगर for example Pakistan में minimum wage rate is let's suppose 16,000 rupees, so unskilled workers जो है ना, जो मजदूर हैं, daily wage workers हैं, let's suppose उनकी minimum wage government ने set कर दी है, which is 16,000 rupees. Now let's suppose the 16,000 rupees is above the equilibrium wage rate. So zahir si baat hai, this is going to create unemployment in the economy. People who are able to find the job, they'll be happy, they'll be paid 16,000 rupees, but it's going to result in unemployment in the economy. So minimum wage rate जो है ना, it's going to affect daily wage workers or unskilled workers. Again, a person who's already earning 2 lakh rupees per month, minimum wage rate अगर 12,000 से 16,000 हो भी जाती है, तो उस वर्कर को तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. Okay, so minimum wage जो है ना, it normally affects only the unskilled workers or the teenage unemployment को affect करती है, not skilled workers, not people who are already earning way above the minimum wage rate. So that's one reason why unemployment arises, or why structural unemployment arises. The second reason that I've identified is union and collective bargaining. So often union contracts set wages above the equilibrium level and allow firms to decide how many workers to employ. Result है a decrease in number of workers hired, or a lower rate of job finding, and an increase in structural unemployment. Now again, coming back to the diagram here. So what I'm saying is that another reason for wage rigidity is because of unions and collective bargaining. We see a very active union in Pakistan Railways or in PIA, or even in POF. We have this existence of labor unions. So what labor unions usually do is that they lobby that the management gives a pay which is higher than the minimum wage rate. So if that is the case, आप देख सकते हैं equilibrium से अगर wage rate ऊपर union workers negotiate करें wage rate which is above the equilibrium, this will result in unemployment in the economy, which is identified as this difference here. So इससे जो union workers को तो फायदा होगा, जो POF के employees हैं उनको तो फायदा होगा, लेकिन outsiders who want to enter into POF या into railways or into PIA, they will बहुत से उम्मीदवार जो है ना, they will return disappointed because the number of jobs जो है ना have been reduced now because these organizations are being forced to pay higher wages. So that's the second reason why structural unemployment exists. और ये structural unemployment आप देख सकते हैं इस केस में completely जो है ना, it's being driven by this policy of wage rigidity. और जो तीसरा reason है why wage rigidity occurs is, or why structural unemployment exists is because of efficiency wages. Efficiency wage theory suggests that higher wages make workers work more productive. So through a wage reduction, though a wage reduction would lower a firm wage bill, It will also lower worker productivity and the firm's profit. So कुछ organizations जो हैं वो जान के equilibrium से ज़्यादा पे करती हैं. अगर a particular industry, अगर मतलब for example, that particular industry is paying more than what average industries are paying around them. So the logic what they're using here is that if I pay more, बेशक मेरा wage bill is going to increase, my labor cost is going to increase, but it would also result in increase in labor productivity. Workers जो है ना ज़्यादा खुश होंगे, ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह काम करेंगे, production बढ़ेगी, तो ultimately organization को इसका फायदा होगा. So there are also a couple of arguments in favor of efficiency wages. One argument is that efficiency wage theory suggests that wage improves nutrition. अगर organizations और organizations के comparatively ज़्यादा पे कर रही हैं, तो इसका एक फायदा ये होगा कि लोगों जो workers हैं उनकी nutrition improve होगी, उनकी health improve होगी, the more the healthier the workers are, the more productive they are going to be in the workplace, कम छुट्टियां करेंगे, ज़्यादा मेहनत से काम करेंगे. So there's an actual advantage of paying more than what the market rate is. The second reason why efficiency wages, बहुत सी organization efficiency wages देती हैं, is because high wages reduce labor turnover. So if I'm working in this organization which is paying more than what the other organizations are paying, मैं दो दफा सोचूंगी कि if I leave this job, I will not be able to find a job which pays as high wages as this particular organization. So this is actually going to reduce labor turnover. Organizations को जो है ना labor turnover tends to adversely affect them because वो workers को train करती हैं, उन्हें experience provide करती हैं. So after learning all the skill, if they just leave the job and move to the competitive firm, so the organization loses a lot. So in order to reduce this phenomenon, in order to reduce labor turnover, what organizations can do is they can resort to efficiency wages. So अगर efficiency wages दी जाएंगी, अगर एक organization और organizations के मुकाबले में ज़्यादा wages दे रही होंगी, तो आप ज़रूर दो दफा सोचेंगे before leaving this particular job. So a third, advantage of efficiency wages is that the average quality of firms' workforce depends on wage it pays to employees. So अगर मैं, for example, my organization is paying a higher wage rate, तो जाहिर सी बात है उस higher wage rate से जो attract होके अच्छे जो quality workers हैं, जो skilled workers हैं, they will be encouraged to apply for this particular job. Okay, so for example, let's suppose there's a person who's highly skilled. अगर एक organization ज़्यादा pay कर रही है, ये जो बंदा है who's highly skilled, who's qualified from US, who has wide industry experience, he will be encouraged to apply for this particular job. अगर हमारी organization बहुत कम पे कर रही होती, तो ये जो बड़ा highly qualified individual है ना, he would have been discouraged कि जी कोई फायदा नहीं है इस job में apply करने का because they are not paying as much as what I'm expecting. So a high pay tends to attract more skilled, more qualified workers. So that's also an advantage of paying more than the rest. And the fourth theory is that efficiency wages says that high wages, it improves worker effort. In an organization which is paying you higher wages, आप दो नंबरी करने से पहले एक दफा सोचेंगे जरूर, because it will be in the back of your mind कि अगर मैं पकड़ा गया, अगर मैं काम चोरी मेरी पकड़ी गई, and if I get fired, I will not be able to find a job as good as this job. So I better, not indulge in such corrupt or, काम चोरी वाली activities. So given this, logic, workers, they tend to put in more effort. They want to retain their job. So they put in 100% in this particular job. So ये फवायद हैं efficiency wages के, लेकिन नुकसान आपके सामने है कि अगर एक organization ज़्यादा पे कर रही है then the equilibrium, तो जाहिर सी बात है it's going to result in some unemployment in the economy, which is referred to as structural unemployment. Okay, बेसिक पॉइंट्स तो हमने कवर कर लिए हैं. ट्रेंड्स ऑफ अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की अगर बात की जाए, थोड़ा सा डेटेड ये डेटा है हमारे पास, बट इट हेल्प्स टू गेट द पॉइंट अक्रॉस that I want to make. The natural rate of unemployment has not been stable in US. 50s or 60s में 5% के करीब थी, 70s और 80s में it was over 6%, and 90s में it's below 5%. The reason why this natural rate of unemployment is increasing and decreasing is because now you can say that it's because of change in that job separation rate and job finding rate. बहुत सी policies government adopt करती है, which tends to affect these job separation and finding rates, which will in turn affect the natural rate of unemployment. अगर हम यूरोपियन अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की बात करें तो आप देख सकते हैं कि ओवरऑल हम देखते हैं कि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट हैज इंक्रीज्ड इन यूरोप सिग्निफिकेंटली. रीजन क्या हो सकते हैं इसके बीच में कि इसके पीछे? Some of the reasons are as follows: is generous benefits for the unemployed. In European countries, most of them are welfare states. They are giving unemployment insurance to workers who don't have jobs. So this actually increases frictional unemployment and hence the unemployment rate. Another reason why unemployment occurs is because technology is driving a decrease in demand for unskilled workers relative to skilled workers. So because of technology, in a lot of jobs, humans, labor is being replaced by machines. So that is also one of the reasons why unemployment is increasing in Europe. Or agar aap latest trends ko dekhein, because of the pandemic, because the industries have closed down, we are seeing increased unemployment. And that kind of unemployment is called the structural unemployment. Okay, so this is also the end of this chapter. और ये जो particular part था, इसमें I've basically tried to explain the distinction between frictional and structural unemployment. Okay, so I'll stop at this point then.